Hey, what's going on, guys? How all you are doing? Welcome to a new video tutorial on the MongoDB course series. So in the last one, we have covered the basics things about like installing the MongoDB binaries on your machine and setting up everything, and just a quick test of how MongoDB works and like the differences between a rational and a non-rational databases like MySQL and a MongoDB, the main differences, the major differences between them, and how actually MongoDB works and why it's very suitable for web projects. So, but for this particular tutorial, what we're going to do is like convert this Pokemon's API over here into like from hard-coded array data, like storing the information or the data on like a server-side array variable, into like using it on a real world example for like making this gonna be stored on a real database, which is like the MongoDB. So if you're not like knowing what is this Pokemon's API thing, so in the APIs tutorial, like in this on the channel actually, so if you haven't watched this, I really do recommend going ahead and watch it, because we have explained all of that, like how to make this web server, and we've gone through this like step by step, explaining what is this doing and why it's a very important thing in here, and everything just going on about this Pokemon's API. So it's pretty much what it does is just go ahead and like we can request some data from this server, like client, there's a client and there's a server. So the client requests the data from the server and the server respond with the requested or the needed data from the actual user or from the actual client, like getting the Pokemon's list over here, which means this one, the names of the Pokemons, or adding a specific Pokemon or removing another specific Pokemon. So what I'm actually going to do is to make this or make this one application or this API server supports MongoDB to store the actual data into MongoDB. So first things first, to get started with, actually, we need to like require the MongoDB. And actually before that, you need to start the server. So make sure you have watched and installed MongoDB on your machine. So just run Mongo as if you've done the last tutorial, run it and make sure that the service is running, and also make sure to install Mongos in your like Node.js project. So npm install Mongos, and everything gonna be working fine. Now we need to start like the Mongos thing. We need to go like Mongos and equals require Mongos. So we need to require everything, require Mongos over here. So Mongos, yeah. And the other thing we need to like this require, so I'm not typing require. Now actually we need to like make the model, the actual model, like the model that I've created the last time, for the user and the password and all this kind of things. We need to do it the same for the Pokemons in here. So in order to make it work, and in order like to be able to like interact with the database, save the data and fetch the data from there. So first things first, let's obviously require the Mongos over here. So just make sure to like constant Mongos require, and I require Mongos over on the top in there, and here we create the model, and the model gonna be very simple. So let's Pokemon, for example, equals, or the schema. So we create the schema and like then compile it into a model. So we do like new schema, and make sure to require the schema, which I haven't already done that. So make sure to go up over there and just schema uppercase equals Mongos, or Mongos dot schema. Okay, so everything is working fine over here. So now we need to go ahead and do this our schema. So the schema is going to be very simple, as I've said. It takes the first thing in here is the name of the Pokemon. So we type in name, and like the type of that is going to be a string, and is going to be a required thing, and the other thing is ability. So ability also is going to type of a string, and the required gonna be true. So make sure to, or feel free to use any other attributes for that, but this will do the job for us. And yeah, you can add other fields in here. Feel free to add whatever you need over here in order to make yours looks better. And now we need to compile it into a model. So let's just call the schema, and let's Pokemon equals, now we need to use the Mongos dot model in order to compile it into a real model. So we pass in the model name, we're gonna call it just a Pokemon. And for passing actually this name, so you can access it later on from any other, like from any piece of code in your project or from inside of your project. Whenever you compile it, then you want to access, just call this function without passing in the schema, and it's going to return for you the actual compiled model from the schema. So this is a really nice feature from Mongo over here. And here we need to pass in the model schema, and everything going to be compiled. Now we need to call, or over here, on this kind of route over here, like this route specifically is getting all of the all of the data on the database. So all it does is just gonna return the data. You go to the database, fetch the data, all of the Pokemons from the database, then return them or send them back into the user, so the user can just display them on his like script or like the client pretty much. So all he's done is just gonna grab it from the database and send it as a JSON, as you can see in here. So status, then we send in as a Pokemon's array over here and a Pokemon. So gonna be very simple. So all we need to do over here is, let me just testing. We need to use our model. So the model is gonna be used pretty much everywhere. So whenever you need to save, whenever you need like to fetch from the database, whenever you need to remove or update any data from the database from Mongo, you need to require the model that you have or you want to access the data into. So make sure to have that, and the model can be combined of course from the schema. So make sure to have that, and like find all Pokemons. And pretty much what we have like forgot about doing pretty much, and the most important thing is just connecting database. So we haven't like opened up a stream, or we haven't connected to the database actually. So let's do that up here. So connect to the database, and make sure to connect to the database using just the Mongo's.connect. And here we put in the stream, which is gonna be like MongoDB, and like MongoDB protocol, and put in localhost, and we put in like / then our database name, which gonna call it just Pokemons. Okay, very simple. And here like we put in the other thing, the array or the callback. I'm confused. And console, without checking for the error, console.connected. And yeah, here we go. Now we connected, we create the model, and everything should be looking fine. I don't know, we just keep taking me at the end of the file, but yeah, this is fine. Now we need here to, like as I've said, to look for the database. So for that, we put in Pokemon.find, and this find method gonna just give it the first thing. So there's like a 4 of them. The first condition is an object, then the second one is just gonna a callback runs whenever the data is being, or whenever the data has been fetched from the database. So the first one is the object of like whatever you want to search for. So the object we're gonna use here is an empty object, since we want to get all of the data from the database, which means all of the Pokemons listed in there, we want to grab them from the database and just gonna be returned for us. And here the second one is going to be, as you can see, the array or the callback, which has the first one is